Hi guys and welcome back to a new video. In today's video, I will be talking about Dragonflight and I will explain how you can make gold cap in the first few days after the launch of Dragonflight. So the goal of today's video is to explain what is this technique and to explain how you can start preparing for this technique and for the release of Dragonflight. So I'm sure that you know that with the release of any new expansions, there are plenty of new ways to make a lot of gold, and especially professions are one thing that will really reward you with a lot of gold. Everyone knows that, for instance, herbalism, skinning, and mining, all these gathering professions will be extremely valuable, especially during the first few days when the prices are not set yet. And now that all the different auction houses will be merged regionally for this type of materials, it will be very interesting to see how fast and what type of profit can people make on all the different realms. But there is one profession that is even more profitable than any other professions during the first few days of any new expansion, and this is Inscription. So with Inscription, you can craft a lot of different very useful items such as the missive. You also have like some crafter's marks. You have like the different tome and some other items that are very interesting. But the most interesting items are going to be the different Darkmoon card and the Darkmoon decks. So basically what you want to do is just craft a lot of these Darkmoon card of death that can just like reward you with some random cards. And then when you have 10 cards from the same family of cards, for instance, 10 cards of repose from ace to 9, you can then combine all these different cards in order to create a deck. And then this deck can be sold on the auction house. And this deck is a trinket. And usually during the first patch of a new expansion, these different trinkets are gonna be probably the most powerful ones, with the mythic ones from the raid. So you can imagine that during the first few days, if you can craft all these different decks, normally you will be able to make a lot of gold. So with the different information we have for now from the different files that have been data mined, you can see that we will get these Darkmoon decks in Dragonflight. So we have 4 decks as usual. And really, I think these decks are going to be one of the best way to make some gold. I remember that for the launch of Shadowlands, someone, I think in the first like few days, made a gold cap just selling these different decks. And you can also, of course, sell all the over cards. So, for instance, if you go on Icy Veins here, they explain how you can really make a lot of gold quickly and efficiently with Inscription and with the different Darkmoon decks during the first few days of the release of an expansion. So, as they explain, as this is random, you won't normally have all the cards directly. So what you can do is either try to exchange with other people who are farming and crafting all these different cards, exchange some cards in order to complete all the different decks, or try to sell them on the auction house and then buy even more materials in order to craft even more cards. But really, as they're highlighting in their article, what really matters is to be the first one to really craft everything. As you can see, it's far more efficient to trade and be the first one to complete the decks and to sell them during the first few days, because after that, the market is going to be flooded and then the prices are going to go down. So really, what you want to do is during the first few days, you don't care about leveling. Normally, if it's the same as in Shadowlands, even with a level 60 or 61, you will be able to max up the Inscription profession with Dragonflight and to then start crafting all these different decks. So what you want to do is really make sure to directly get your character that has Inscription, just level up enough in order to get access to Inscription in Dragonflight, and then start upgrading your profession and start unlocking these different crafts. Like that, you should really be able to make a lot of gold. So in order to upgrade your profession, what you're going to have to do is buy a lot of plants and flowers, and then you need to like mile all these different flowers. So what you need in order to be prepared is to really save a lot of gold. Usually, if you want to be within the first people selling and crafting all these different decks on your realm, you will need to spend a couple of millions probably during the first few days in order to max up your profession and then to have enough materials in order to craft all the different cards. So this is my first recommendation. really try to save enough gold in order to be able to do that when Dragonflight will launch. The second important thing is, of course, to have a character maxed up with Inscription. You don't need normally to have all the other like previous expansions upgraded. You don't really care about that. You just want to have like a level 60 with Inscription that will be ready to be leveled up directly after the first few hours after the launch of Dragonflight. So these are really the two things you want to keep in mind, and normally like that you will be able to really make a lot of gold. Of course, as you can imagine, Herbalism is also going to be extremely big during the first few days because everyone is going to buy all these different plants in order to mile them and get enough skills in order to craft the decks. So really, this is also probably one of the best profession that you can try to play during the first few days. If you're more into gathering and you don't want to invest gold into crafting, then that's definitely also the best way for you to make some gold. But really, in my opinion, normally you will be able to make a lot of gold, maybe like not like a gold cap depending on how much gold you will invest and how much time you will spend in the game. But if you can really, for the first few days, play a lot and make sure to always undercut on the auction house and have some decks available, you will make a lot of gold. Also, always keep in mind to use the trade chat and to advertise the fact that you're selling all these different cards and the decks, and normally you will find even more buyers. So that's going to be pretty much it for today's video. Really just wanted to mention that, and I was very happy to see that all these different decks will be back in Dragonflight, and I can guarantee you that this will be a very good way to make some gold at the launch. So with that, I will be back with more videos very soon, more on Shadowlands and then also on Dragonflight. And in the meantime, I wish you all a very great weekend. Bye!